kid in our grade. So that leaves all the rest of us guys scrambling for the other spots. The best I can figure is that I'm somewhere around 52nd or 53rd most popular this year. But the good news is that I'm about to move up one spot because Charlie Davies is above me, and he's getting his braces next week. There's Charlie. I try to explain all this popularity stuff to my friend Rowley, who is probably hovering right around the 150 mark, by the way, but I think it just goes in one ear and out the other with him. There's Rowley and Greg. Today we had physical education. So the first thing I did when I got outside was sneak off to the basketball court to see if the cheese was still there, and sure enough, it was. And there's the cheese. That piece of cheese has been sitting on the court since last spring. I guess it must have dropped out someone's sandwich or something. After a couple of days, the cheese started getting all moldy and nasty. Nobody would play basketball on the court where the cheese was, even though that was the only court that had a hoop with a net. Then one day, the kid named Darren Walsh touched the cheese with his finger, and that's what started this thing called the cheese touch. It's basically like the cooties. If you get the cheese touch, you're stuck with it until you pass it on to someone else. Scream! Run! The only way to protect yourself from the cheese touch is to cross your fingers. There's Darren Walsh, making sure everyone's getting the cheese touch. But it's not that easy remembering to keep your fingers crossed every moment of the day. I ended up taping mine together so they'd stay crossed all the time. I got a D in handwriting, but it was totally worth it. This one kid named Abe Hall got the cheese touch in April, and nobody would even come near him for the rest of the year. This summer, Abe moved away to California and took the cheese touch with him. I just hope someone doesn't start the cheese touch up again, because I don't need that kind of stress in my life anymore. Thursday. I'm having a seriously hard time getting used to the fact that summer is over and I have to get out of my bed every morning to go to school. My summer did not exactly get off to a great start, thanks to my older brother, Roderick. A couple of days into summer vacation, Roderick woke me up in the middle of the night. He told me I slept through the whole summer, but that luckily, I woke up just in time for the first day of school. Shoot! There's Roderick lying. He's a douche. You might think I was pretty dumb for falling for that one, but Roderick was dressed up in his school clothes and he'd set my alarm clock ahead to make it look like it was the morning. Plus he closed my curtains so I couldn't see that it was still dark out. He did that whole thing just to mess with Greg. Dude, Roderick's a dick. After Roderick woke me up, I just got dressed and went downstairs to make myself some breakfast, like I do every morning on school day. But I guess I must have made a pretty big racket because the next thing I knew, Dad was downstairs yelling at me for eating Cheerios at 3 in the morning. And there's Dad yelling at Greg. It took me a minute to figure out what the heck was going on. After I did, I told Dad that Roderick had played a trick on me, and he was the one that should be getting yelled at. Dad walked down to the basement to chew Roderick out, and I tagged along. I couldn't wait to see Roderick get what was coming to him. But Roderick covered up his tracks pretty good, and to this day, I'm sure Dad thinks I've got a screw loose or something. There's Roderick lying. Or is Greg lying? Friday. Today at school, we got assigned to reading groups. They don't come right out and tell you if you're in the gifted group or the easy group, but you can figure it out right away by looking at the cover of the books they hand out. Einstein as a child, Bink says boo, and there's Bink saying boo. I was pretty disappointed to find out I got put in the gifted group because that just means a lot of extra work. When they did the screening at the end of the last year, I did my best to make sure I got put in the easy group this year. Fred picked up the book. Phew, thank you. And there's him lying. Wait. Mom is real tight with our principal, so I'll bet she stepped in and made sure I got put in the gifted group again. Mom is always saying I'm a smart kid, but that I just don't apply myself. But if there's one thing I learned from Roderick, it's to set people's expectations real low. So you end up surprising them by practically doing nothing at all. Roderick, I want your dirty underwear off the kitchen table before I get home from work. Ugh. Later. Oh. Roderick doing the bare minimum. Come on. Actually, I'm kind of glad my plan to get put in the easy group didn't work. I saw a couple of the Bink Says Boo kids holding their books upside down, and I don't think they were joking. Saturday, the weekend. Well, the first week of school is finally over, so today I slept in. Most kids wake up early on Saturday to watch cartoons or whatever, but not me. The only reason I get out of bed at all on weekends is because eventually I can't stand the taste of my own breath anymore, says Greg. Unfortunately, Dad wakes up at 6 in the morning, no matter what day of the week it is. And he is not real considerate of the fact that I am trying to enjoy my Saturday like a normal person. Here's his dad vacuuming his room on a Saturday. I didn't have anything to do today, so I just headed up to Rowley's house. Rowley is technically my best friend, but that is definitely subject to change. I've been avoiding Rowley. I'm gonna go with Rowley since the first day of school when he did something that really annoyed me. We were getting our stuff from our lockers at the end of the day, and Rowley came up to me and said, "Want to come over to my house and play?" in front of the bullies. Not a good look. Not a good look. Come on. Idiot. I have told Rowley at least 1 billion times that now that we're in middle school, you're supposed to say hang out, not play. But no matter how many noogies I give him, he always forgets the next time. I've been trying to be a lot more careful about my image ever since I got to middle school. But having Rowley around is definitely not helping. I have met Rowley a few years ago when he moved into my neighborhood. His mom bought him this book called How to Make Friends in New Places, and he came to my house trying all these dumb gimmicks. Knock knock, huh? Thermos, excuse me? Thermos be some way to tickle your funny bone? Say what? Here's Rowley trying to make friends with Greg. Kind of worked. I guess I kind of felt sorry for Rowley, and I decided to take him under my wing. It's been great having him around, mostly because I get to use all the tricks Roderick pulls on me. Did you know that if your hand is bigger than your face, it's a sign of low intelligence? Really? Ha, gotcha, whap. But do I have low intelligence? Let me check again. That's Greg being a little goober, little prankster. Monday. I said I'd play all sorts of pranks on Rowley. Well, I have a little brother named Manny, and I could never get away with pulling any of that stuff on him. Mom and Dad protect Manny like he's a prince or something, and he never gets in trouble, even if he really deserves it. Yesterday, Manny drew a self-portrait on my bedroom door in permanent marker. Come on, Manny. I thought Mom and Dad were really going to let him have it, but as usual, I was wrong. And there's Manny drawing on a door that's not his, but getting away with it. But the thing that bugs me the most about Manny is the nickname he has for me. When he was a baby, he couldn't pronounce brother, so he started calling me Bubby, and he still calls me that, even though I keep trying to get Mom and Dad to make him stop. Luckily, none of my friends have found out yet, but believe me, I've had some really close calls. Happy birthday, Greg. Big sign. Hey, this one says it's to Bubby. Must be a mistake. Tosses it out. Close call. But good save by Greg. Mom makes me help Manny get ready for school in the morning. After I make Manny his breakfast, he carries his cereal bowl into the family room and sits on the plastic potty. C is for Cookie, and Cookie is for me. Ha! It's Manny. He's being a little baby. And when it's time for him to go to daycare, he gets up and dumps whatever he didn't eat right in the toilet. Dump. Mom is always getting on me about not finishing my breakfast, but if she had to scrape cornflakes out of the bottom of his plastic potty every morning, she wouldn't have much of an appetite either. pretty disgusting. Oh, wait. There's Manny dumping the cornflakes. Come on. Manny. Tuesday. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I am super good at video games. I'll bet I could beat anyone in my grade head to head. Unfortunately, Dad does not exactly appreciate my skills. He's always getting on me about going out and doing something active. So tonight after dinner, when Dad started hassling me about going outside, I tried to explain how with video games I can play sports like football and soccer and you don't even get all hot and sweaty. But as usual, Dad didn't see my logic. As gamer kids, we had to deal with that growing up. Not the Koreans though. They got to become esports players. We didn't. Dad is pretty smart guy. Dad is a pretty smart guy in general. But when it comes to common sense, sometimes I wonder about him. Slam! Oh, he kicked Greg out. I was trying to figure out what happened there. He kicked Greg out the house to go play. I'm sure Dad would dismantle my game system if he could figure out how to do it, but luckily, the people who make these things make them parent-proof. Dag nab these fancy gadgets. There's his dad getting all confused. Every time Dad kicks me out of the house to do something sporty, I just go up to Rollies and play my video games there. Unfortunately, the only games I can play at Rollies are car racing games and stuff like that. Because whenever I bring a game up to Rolly's house, his dad looks it up on some parent's website, and if my game has any kind of fighting or violence in it, he won't let us play. Is Rolly's dad looking it up? He's going, Violence. I'm getting a little sick of playing Formula One racing with Rolly, because he's not a serious gamer like me. For real. All that you have to do to beat Rolly is name your car or something ridiculous at the beginning of the game. And then when you pass Rolly's car, he just falls to pieces. Bad fart ahead. It's basically tricking him. Lukewarm IQ. It's okay, it's a fun time though. Anyways, after I got done with mopping the floor with Rolly today, I headed home. I ran through the neighbor's sprinklers a couple times to make it look like I was all sweaty, and that seemed to trick Dad. Phew! There's him being a little liar. But my trick kind of backfired because as soon as Mom saw me, she made me go upstairs and take a shower. Wednesday. I guess Dad must have been pretty happy with himself for making me go outside yesterday, because he did it again today. It's getting really annoying to have to go up to Rollies every time I want to play a video game. There's this weird kid named Fregley who lives halfway between my house and Rollies, and Fregley is always hanging out in front of his yard, so it's pretty hard to avoid him. Want to see my secret freckle? No thanks. There's Fregley trying to show Greg his secret freckle. Fregley is in my physical education class at school, and he has this whole made-up language. Like when he needs to go to the bathroom, he says, juice, juice. There's him yelling juice. Us kids have pretty much figured Fregley out by now, but I don't think the teachers have really caught on yet. Okay, kid, gee whiz, high C. It's bringing him a juice. Because the teacher doesn't get it. Today, I would probably have gone to Rollies on my own anyway, because my brother Roderick and his band were practicing down in the basement. Roderick's band is really awful, and I can't stand being home when they're teaching. Roderick's band is really awful, and I can't stand being home when they're having rehearsals. Past 15 minutes. His band is called Loaded Diaper, only it's spelled Loaded Diaper, Lodddiper, on Roderick's van. You might think he spelled it that way to make it look cooler, but I bet if you told Roderick how Loaded Diaper is really spelled, it would be news to him. There's his band. Band Loaded Diaper. I just realized everything's backwards. Dad was against the idea of Roderick starting a band, but Mom was all for it. She's the one who bought Roderick his first drum set. And we're gonna put a bookmark in that. There.